Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti. And we're going to start right now with a live look at Spokane County Public Works. It is holding a news conference outlining the work that they will be doing this coming winter. They're going to be talking about things that so many of us care about, things like plowing schedules, equipment changes, and road treatments for both snow and ice. So we hope that starts here fairly soon, and we'll try to listen in when it does begin. We do have a reporter at today's news conference, and you can certainly learn more about what the county is planning for this winter coming up on later editions of KREM 2 News, and of course, always on KREM.com. That is set to get underway any moment now. All right, speaking of outside and what it's going to be like, let's look a little bit closer here in the future of like what it's going to be like this afternoon. We have Thomas Patrick in the Outdoor Weather Center. Thomas, certainly just warm weather this fall overall.
Yeah, well, of course, remember, September was our warmest September on record in Spokane history. October has really just followed suit. We've had days in the 80s already this month. Today will be pretty close, to be honest. We're already at 70 degrees, which is already 10 degrees above average for high temperatures, and we still probably got another 10 degrees to go on top of that. Should we hit 81, we'll tie the record high for October 9th, today's dates, of course. And I am forecasting close to that, about 78 to 79 degrees. So upper 70s throughout the inland Northwest with all that sunshine. Completely rare to be this warm. And to put it this way, it's not going to get any warmer than this. It will be our warmest day of the week by far, and we'll start to cool off in a huge way by this weekend. In fact, there's already a bit of rain out on the west side here. Seattle getting some cooler showers. That's not heading in our direction. Notice how the track of that is all straight northward, no movement eastward. So we're undisturbed. We are mostly sunny. But that cold pocket of air, if you look at the bigger picture and in the water vapor imagery, is right here, and that is going to cool us off big time. It'll feel like just opening up the trap door for our temperature. So coming up, I'm going to detail how big of a swing and shift we're going to have between today's near record highs to the potential for high elevation snowfall within 2 or 3 days from now.
We now know the identity of the former Gonzaga baseball player who is accused of vandalizing the state capitol. He is 29-year-old Gunnar Schubert. He is charged with second-degree burglary and third-degree malicious mischief. He is accused of breaking into the Capitol building on Sunday, and they do tell us that he caused about $750 worth of damage. The Washington State Patrol says the attack did not seem like it was politically motivated, but said Schubert, they believe, was having a mental health crisis. A judge has set a new trial date for the teenage hit-and-run suspect on Spokane South Hill. Defense attorneys asked for more time to review the evidence yesterday in court, so the new trial is now set for January 26. The 17-year-old is accused of hitting and killing Chaz COO Sarah Doxey with a car. The teenager pleaded not guilty to charges of DUI and vehicular homicide. And a Spokane County woman pleaded guilty to several charges for stabbing a Spokane County Sheriff's deputy in the neck. It took less than an hour yesterday for a judge to sentence Gloria Endres to more than 2 years in prison.
I'm extremely regretful about what occurred, and I want to do everything I possibly can to live a right future and do the right thing.
So Endres was convicted of second-degree assault with a deadly weapon and second-degree assault as well. After she serves her time in prison, Endres will have a 1.5 years of community supervision where she will be required to meet with mental health professionals. The Senate voted for a 6th time to pass a funding bill, however, failed. The vote was 54 to 45, and they needed 60 votes to pass it. And that puts us in the second week of the government shutdown. And with no end in sight, Washington State University is showing people what's at stake. WSU's website is displaying its list of over 1,000 federal grants. It explains what funding comes from the government as well as what the government has already pooled. The university hopes this helps alleviate worry for anyone whose job relies on federal dollars. The WSU president released a statement on the shutdown saying, quote, "I recognize the uncertainty this creates and am committed to supporting you throughout. The Office of Federal Relations is closely monitoring developments and will provide updates as they become available."
We cannot normalize this extreme action. This is not normal behavior. It's not rational behavior, particularly coming from the highest office in our country.
President Trump just named Seattle as a potential target for federal intervention, and the mayor is already trying to stop it. He signed 2 new executive orders. The first blocking unauthorized National Guard troops in Seattle and makes it so local police stay in control. The second adding protections for immigrant and refugee communities, including a proposed ban on ICE agents wearing masks in most situations.
Seeing leaders stand up, both elected officials and community leaders standing shoulder to shoulder and saying, while we can't make a promise of protection, we will use every tool in our arsenal to protect people.
Seattle leaders say they are sending a clear message that the city will not stand by as federal actions threaten its values or its people. Israel and Hamas are a step closer to ending its 2-year-long war, announcing a phase 1 ceasefire deal that includes releasing all of the remaining Israeli hostages. The White House says Israel will withdraw its forces, at least up to a certain point, within 24 hours. Once that happens, Hamas will have 72 hours to release the remaining hostages, including the bodies of the dead. Meanwhile, Hamas says the deal will also mean exchanging Palestinian prisoners and allowing more aid into Gaza.
Gaza, we believe, is going to be a much safer place, and it's going to be a place that reconstructs.
The deal comes a little more than 2 years after Hamas attacked Israel. The Hamas-run health ministry says more than 67,000 Palestinians have been killed during Israel's offensive in Gaza. Turning now to the inland Northwest, the Coeur d'Alene tribe got back almost 30,000 acres that was taken from them back in the 1800s. This land was part of the Panhandle's Game Management Unit south of Coeur d'Alene. The tribe has been working to reacquire culturally significant land for decades. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press saying as the tribe works out managing the land, it will no longer be open to the public for hunting, at least for the time being. So check the Coeur d'Alene tribal hunting regulations before heading out.